So it's a morning after, and I still can't believe that performance from Cole Palmer. 4 goals in the first half is absolutely insane. This boy needs to be studied because I don't think we've ever seen somebody be this good in his first and 10 games or whatever into his second season. Like, it's unheard of. I was looking at these statistics the other day, and it's 50 goal involvements in 53 games. Hold on, let me repeat that for you. 50 goal involvements in 53 games. He started 46 of those games. That is absolutely insane. But I'm here to talk about Chelsea against Brighton again. And I want to talk about some things that I maybe missed off in yesterday's video because it was a very reactionary video I made yesterday. But I've had a chance to study the game and I thought Maresca. But the players. And I'll tell you why. Opening 10 games of that, opening 10 to 15 minutes of that game was like a basketball game. End-to-end stuff. You were tearing into them, they were tearing into you. There was high pressing, there was high lines, there was chances being created. It was a basketball-esque game. And we all know that first half was just insane. Like, when you think about what actually happened in that first half, there was a penalty, there was a spectacular free kick, there was mistakes, there was beautiful worked goals, there was passages of play, there was high lines that looked ridiculous. But I want to give the players their flowers because in that second half, that game management from Chelsea was sublime. Because Brighton would have come on to Chelsea a lot, or tried to come on to Chelsea a lot more in that second half. Chelsea would have had to expect that. And that game management from Chelsea was sublime. Now, you've got to think Chelsea have got the youngest average age squad in the Premier League this season. So to go out there and to control the tempo of the game without having most possession, kudos. Because these players are quite inexperienced, you've got to remember. So to control and have the game temperament, to have the game management in that second half deserves a lot of respect. But let's go back to the start. Chelsea looked a bit nervous at first. You could see they were struggling to string some passes together. Brighton's press was aggressive. It was on the front foot. And Chelsea didn't know how to cope at first. Let's be perfectly honest. And then Brighton opened the scoring with a mistake from Sanchez and Caicedo. Caicedo didn't have his best game, I can't lie, but I think he grew into it. Absolutely. Now, one player I want to touch on before we get on to Cole Palmer again is Enzo Fernandez. I don't think people realise what he brings to this team. That ability to spray passes from deep is unbelievable, and it absolutely torments the opposition, and especially the opposition that play a high line. When you've got the movement of Jackson, when you've got the movement of Cole Palmer, and you've got a player like Enzo Fernandez, that's your weapon. That is your key against high lines. And if anybody that watches this, watch my pre-match review, I said there's 3 things that'll be key in this game. That is the 2 centre midfielders moving the ball early and shifting the ball into space. The movement of Jackson Palmer, of Nicholas Jackson, sorry, I'm getting excited, to run in those channels and get in behind Brighton, because that's where the space is and that's where they'll punish Brighton. And the intelligence of Cole Palmer to pick up those pockets of space. Why did I say this? One, because Brighton play with high energy, high press, so you've got to move the ball early. If not, you'll just be caught off guard and they'll force high turnovers. 2, because Brighton sit with a high line and they leave space in behind, so you need to exploit that. If you do, you'll punish Brighton. If you don't, you'll allow them to dictate and allow them to implement their play on the game. And 3, Brighton press in a 4-1-4-1 formation. So that number 6 is key in their press. Now, if you can get Cole Palmer just floating in and around the left and right half spaces, that completely dismantles their press because the number 6 doesn't know whether to follow him or go with him. If he does, it leaves space centrally. And the centre-backs don't know whether to push up higher. If it does, it leaves Jackson one-on-one. So it completely dismantles their shape. So I want to give kudos to Maresca, but I also want to give kudos to myself because Maresca did exactly what I said to do. And I want to give kudos that I was able to think before the game unfolded on how Chelsea can break Brighton down. And the fact they've done it that way just makes us smile. So respect to Enzo Fernandez for having the quality, the execution, and the vision to play those passes. Respect to Caicedo to grow into the game, because I always say this, right? When I'm watching or scouting a footballer, I don't look at if he makes a mistake. That's nothing. It's those that don't shy away after a mistake that become the great players. When you've got a player that consistently shows for the ball, consistently works hard, consistently presses, consistently wants to be involved in the game, that's what separates a great player from a good player. I can accept a player showing for the ball 10 times, making 2 mistakes out of those 10 times that costs us a goal, than a player that doesn't show for the ball at all and just hides away in a game. I want that 10 type player more than that 0 type player. And that's what we're starting to see with this Chelsea team. Not only are they starting to play in a team cohesion at times, because in the first 10-15 minutes they were a bit all over the shop, but it's the willingness and the determination and the courage not to hide and shy away. Cucurella, he was brilliant today. His start in Chelsea wasn't great. We can't lie, it wasn't great. But the courage and the willingness to prove everyone wrong is exactly what you want in a footballer. And it makes this Chelsea team extremely likeable. So I've just been listening to TalkSport as well. And the question on TalkSport was, in this Chelsea side, would you swap Cole Palmer for Erling Haaland? And I was thinking about it and I thought, actually, I wouldn't. What Cole Palmer brings in this Chelsea team, he knits everything together offensively. He's the creator. He can score goals. He's got the manipulation of space. What he brings a sense of calmness, a sense of coldness. When he's on the... Now what I like about Cole Palmer, right? He doesn't rely on speed. He doesn't rely on power. He relies on football intelligence and football IQ. When he's on the ball, it's like the Matrix. Everything around him goes slowly, and he's able just to express himself in a different kind of ways what other players do. And it's fucking beautiful to witness. Like, I feel like I'm doing him a disservice. Like, I can't find the words or the adjectives to praise him enough. I feel like I'm doing him a disservice, but he's been absolutely sensational since he came into this Chelsea side. And you've got to think about what he come into it. When he first come into Chelsea, they were all over the shop. They didn't know whether they were coming and going. There was bodies leaving. There was new players coming in. And he's just settled in like house on fire. Now, granted, I think Man City didn't get enough for Palmer. 40, 45 million, whatever it was, wasn't enough. I think Man City should be charged for 116 charges. That extra 1 charges for selling Cole Palmer for 40 million or whatever it was, 45 million. That's what they need to be in court for, because Cole Palmer is pretty much, he's cooking. Like, he's the best player in the world right now, on form, He is the best player in the world, without a doubt. But then finally, I want to talk about what I like about Maresca is he's got a clear vision. People were talking about 46 players, 56 players, whatever they were saying in the media. But he's identified 22 players nigh on, because it will change throughout the season. Chilwell will play small parts. Chukwuemeka will play small parts or whatever. But he's got a clear identity of what you want. And that's exactly what you want from a manager. Somebody that's brave and bold enough to make decisions, good decisions. And he's a bold-headed genius, I say, because tactically, he's brought back an identity to Chelsea. Look at Erik Ten Hag, right, in Man United. He's been there, 3 years now? And I can't think off the top of my head where I've watched Man United and thought, they've got their style of play. They've got their identity, where they've really dominated a game. And I've sat there and thought, I can see what Ten Hag is doing. I can't think of a game where I've thought that. Despite them they've obviously won trophies. But when you actually sit back and look at what's happening on the football pitch, I can't sit and think of a moment where I've thought, yeah, that's a Man United. That is Man United. But since Enzo Maresca's coming to Chelsea, I've sat there and I've thought, I can see what he's doing. I can see his vision. And that's all you want as a football fan. There's going to be times where it doesn't come off, because that's football. You don't win every single game. You don't perform to your maximum every single game. That's sport. That's football. There's going to be times where it just doesn't go your way. But as long as the identity and the philosophy is there, that's all you want from your manager. Somebody who's brave and bold to make decisions, he can do that. Somebody that can tactically adapt his own vision for the benefit of the team. He's done that against Brighton. Somebody that looks at the opposition and tries to exploit their weaknesses, he's doing that. There's not much more Enzo Maresca can do as manager of Chelsea Football Club right now. I make this video just to clear up those points, because I don't think there's a footballer in the world I would swap Cole Palmer for. Not at all. Because what he brings to Chelsea, it fucking blows my mind. I can't lie. I can't lie. It's so good to see a young footballer just expressing himself and just showing what he's all about to the world. Now, I think there's a lot to like about Chelsea at the minute. And what they've got, Nottingham, aside from Ghent, they've got Nottingham Forest at home in the Premier League. Let's build up more momentum before Liverpool away, before the big guns. So yeah, the future is bright for Chelsea Football Club. And you might not always like what the owners do. I get that. You might not always like what they say, but just be positive. You've went through tough times over the past 2 years. Now it's time just to back the team, encourage the team, get behind them, win, lose, or draw. But if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, support this channel, because it is a new Chelsea channel. So make sure you support this channel. Now, look forward to hearing from you guys. What did you make of that game yesterday? What were the pros? What were the cons? Let us know in the comments below. Once again, until next time, thank you very much.